This computer. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Shama Farag. A few years back, when I was a newcomer to the US, I attended a class that was meant to be helping me to enhance my resume and help me learn about the work culture and the work environment and the work industry in the US. Most of the class attendees were just like me, immigrants. None of them English was their first language. All of them English was their second language. And whenever I spoke, I just feel like all of them like this. And I was, what's the problem? And I feel like they were kind enough not to ask me questions that would make me feel like alienated. But at the end of by the end of the course, there was like MOOC interviews, and one of the interviewers, who are supposed to be a real employer, who's supposed to hire people from the class, couldn't hold it, and he had the balls to ask me the question. You said you're a newcomer. Where did you learn your English? And I feel like, okay. So I like American music. I really in love with American music. I listen to music so much. I memorize the lyrics and I just keep singing them and memorize the lyrics and sing the songs to myself. And, and he was like, you like American? And he burst out laughing. And this was one of the happiest moments, because I feel like I was able to change someone's narrative regarding something that really irritates me, how they look at the Arab immigrant, especially veiled women. And I really loved it when I was able to feel like I was able to break some of the stereotypes and the taboos they have about immigrant Arab veiled women. Most of the Westerns are familiar with the Arab immigrants, women who are not good at English. Maybe they are familiar with the Arab immigrant women who can cook, but they are not. But how about the Arab immigrant women who can code for you? How about the Arab immigrant women who can tutor a kid? How about the Arab American immigrant who can be your therapist? How about Arab American or Arab immigrant who can tell you an entertaining story? Or how about the Arab American who can make you laugh? So today I'm breaking some of more of those stereotypes and the taboos we have. And welcome Asmaa Esmat. She is an aspiring life coach with from the tech community. I would love to have you here and know your neighbor. Welcome Asmaa. You took it from there, and let us know who you are.
Hi, thank you, Shema. And I can't relate more to actually what you just mentioned. I like when I came here, I actually came here like 10 years ago. And when I came here, I felt like the elephant in the room because I felt like there is like a lot of like ton of questions. You can read them, every single one of those questions in the eyes, but no one get the guts to ask them. And maybe they're like, they feel it's like more polite not to ask. However, I don't mind anyone asking from a curiosity point of view, because I would love to share my culture and like where I'm coming from or why I'm wearing this, because like a lot of people having questions about why I'm wearing hijab. But like, thank you for giving me this opportunity, like to chat with you. And a brief idea, like a brief introduction about me. My name is Asmaa Esmat, and also known as Asmaa Muhammad. Muhammad is my last name here in the United States. I am a software tech lead for quality assurance team. I used to work for a lot of tech companies here, like Microsoft and Amazon, Dropbox, and now I'm moving to Indeed. So I work in the tech industry as a lot of actually other Arab women here in Washington State. But I guess we want to focus today on the other part of me, which is the life coach part. It's basically like I started recently to learn about life coaching. What's life coach, what it is, what they do, how they help people. And I actually didn't mean to be a life coach. I just wanted to like take this kind of like course for self growth, because I wanted to be a better mom in the first place. I noticed myself that I'm not a good listener. I like that I'm always interrupt my kids. I'm like, here's an idea, and that's not a good thing to do. And I also noticed that sometimes unconsciously I judge, and that's not good thing. So I honestly like thought like, wait a second, I need to be a coach. I need to like raise my kids from a coaching perspective. Like I want to coach them, I want to empower them to be who they really are. I want to empower them. And actually, like one step before that, I actually took a positive discipline certification because I wanted to be a better mom. So like usually enhancing my strategies to be a better mom was like kind of like the drive for me to start something new. But surprisingly, when I start my life coaching experience, and I started to take some clients, I found that there is ton and ton of women in all languages and all different countries having basically the same problems that any woman can have. So, and this is exactly when I started to say like, wait a second. So I'm working on that. This is an area that I'm interested in, and I love helping other women and empowering other women, especially who feels like they are minority like me. I would like to empower these women. So I was like, why not? Like I'm gonna continue my career as a software engineer, but I also wanna um, have something to give to the community. So I decided to like start to be a life coach.
Mhm. Because in Washington State, it's really getting hard for someone to get a job without being involved in the tech industry. It's hard to avoid, and I see many people like chemists, include like myself, or even teachers and others. They are making a career shift to just get out of their
Mm.
loans and poverty, and they are. So I'm seeing the opposite. You are doing the opposite things. So how and I see this, there is a prophecy. One of the American writers, I don't know if you know her or not. Her name is Brene Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and she said that people now in the current environment we're having, they are into smartness and brainy work, but a few years later they will uh, switch to kind of the hearty-feely jobs, and they will be directed toward mental wellness, and well-being. And I see her prophecy is really applied on you.
Well, I guess it's kind of like natural consequences of like the life that we're living right now, to see more and more of like people who cares about the mental health. So see, we tend to live a life that like we are always running, we are always like targeting a specific target, and we never had the time to seize the moment, right? And I even didn't realize that about myself until I noticed that my kids having this attitude, and that was kind of like a slap on the face. Like for
Mm.
example, like to me, I was like always, oh, okay, so good, I got that job, that's great. Okay, I want to make sure that I prove myself in that job. So I don't even take a time to celebrate that I got this job. I just move on to like worry about like that I need to prove myself. And then, or even with my kids, I'm like, okay, great, they got good grades now, but then what next? Like how can I save them, or like how can I educate them really well? How can I do that? I'm always like worrying about what's next. And then I didn't realize I'm doing this until I noticed one turning point in my life was my son in Disneyland. And we were in a ride, and then like he was so happy. And then after that, like, Mom, what we will do when the Disneyland just close at the night? What will we do tomorrow? What we will do when we go home? I'm like, wait a second, you're doing like me. And that's not okay. So I noticed that like the life that we are living right now, it needs someone to actually like slow it down a little bit and live the moment. And it also like, you know how Google Photos shows to you some memories on like look back 5 years ago, and I noticed how fast our like they grow, our kids. And I was so busy focusing on their future and forgot to enjoy the present.
The current moment, yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I started to read a lot about the psychology of this, and how how to be present, how to slow down a little bit, how to not worry much about like the future. And that actually kind of like turning my life upside down. It's like it's amazing how like how energetic you are, and also like focus on what you have in your control, and just let go of the thing that you don't have control in. It's very important just to stop and think what I do have control in this situation, what I don't have control in this situation. Just let go of the other one. And it's part of Iman. Like, in our religious, we believe that like we can take control of some stuff and the others are just up to God, right? And we just like do our part of the story. So I decided like to learn more about that and how to be grounded, as they call it, like be grounded, be present. And I can't teach my kids to be grounded or like to be present unless they see me like that, right?
They're copying it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you basically do parenting by modeling. You can say like every day, like just be present, enjoy the moment, and they will learn nothing.
You yourself, you're not enjoying it.
Exactly. So I'm not claiming that I'm not claiming that I'm the best mom ever now. I'm not claiming that like I'm enjoying every single moment, but at least I now learned like to catch myself when I do that. I know that like I have that awareness that like, oh my God, this is not okay. And I know the tools that will help me to get out of that state quickly. So that's why I believe like this is basically like a short story about my incentive on like why I wanted to kind of like mix it up a little bit with like the brainy work. I want also something that actually making me feel that I'm here every day. I'm actually leaving an impact on others, like either my kids or other women or like even my colleagues. Even as a manager, like in my job, I feel like coaching will help me to be a better manager because I'm empowering employees to be who they really are, not like to be a copy version of me. Right?
You're right. And the first step in everything is acknowledgement. I'm glad you just mentioned this right now. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be the professional at the very moment. You can just start your steps by being acknowledging what you're doing, and then you get along with them. So let's get to the human side. Just share with me something, a hobby or something you like to do in your spare time.
Well, a hobby I used like when I was younger. I used to be I loved playing roller skates. Oh my God, I also was like athlete. I was like actually presenting Egypt in Africa Championship or like playing roller skates. That was like a big hobby until I got an injury in my knee, so I stopped it. But I still love it.
So you get the evil eye.
But I love it, and I like till now when I put roller skates on, I feel like I'm 12 years old. I'm just like running. It's amazing. So I love that. And recently I developed a new hobby, which is video editing. Like basically whatever message in my head, I kind of like create a small video, like a 1-minute video about it, kind of like share my thoughts with the world in a kind of like entertaining video. And I love cooking. I do cooking therapy.
Oh my God. Oh, we have a lot in common. I'm gonna make sure in the comments once the video is uploaded, I'm gonna make sure to share Asma's professional business page. She has a professional business page relevant to her work as a life coaching, and with a lot of tips and a lot of videos, and we're gonna learn more and more about it. So what so you said cooking, so let me know what kind of, or share a recipe with me or something you like to make.
Okay, well, like anything Egyptian I love. I mean, like the Egyptian cuisine is like, oh my God, it's amazing. And it's not just, I'm not biased because I'm Egyptian. It's because like I have a lot of other friends who actually tasted the Egyptian food and they loved it. So I love anything Egyptian cuisine, but in particular I like koshari, which basically like for people who don't know what koshari is, it's a vegetarian plate that's actually like all carbs. It's like kind of like not healthy at all. it's pasta and rice. Pasta and rice and noodles. So it's like everything like against the healthy food, but I love it. It's amazing.
A few months back, I just switched to like a vegetarian kind of diet. So I got all the healthy stuff. I mix it in my blender.
And I just
no. And I get me a terrible stomach ache. So I went to the doctor and they suggested me to follow a mob diet. They told me I can't have beet, I can't have Brussels sprouts, I can't have collard, I can't have, all the healthy stuff. But I'm glad they left me the rice because this is my favorite. You cannot erase my rice, So I'm happy they left the rice. So I'm glad. And kushari is my favorite. Just would you just share with us how you make it? So if you have a tip,
complicated.
Share your tips.
Yeah, it's complicated. So first of all, like you get the black lentil, and I kind of like give it like a little bit. I mix it with little oil on the stove, and just like a little bit of cumin and salt, just a little bit, and then put a boiled water on it and make it like half cooked, not like fully cooked. And then don't throw that water because you want it. Okay. and, and then like just like also like mix some noodles with a little bit of oil on the stove, and then the rice, white rice.
So just to be specific, it's mini noodles.
Yes, that's short. Yes,
mini spaghetti. You can find it at Take.
Right. Yeah. And then with the white rice, and then like just salt and whatever, and then put that water that we saved, and then the lentil until they cover like that, like 1 inch above the rice and like the mix, and then just like put it in a very like slow, like gentle heat. Yeah, and like on the while this is cooking, like you do just like normal spaghetti, and I mix it with small elbow spaghetti and small elbow pasta. And that's the pasta side, and then the essence of the kushari, which is the sauce, the tomato sauce.
Let's get to the
yeah, the real thing. So it's like garlic, and you give it like yes, yeah.
It's garlic, or just I see people are just chopped or garlic.
No, I mince it.
You mince it.
Yeah, and then also like coriander and cumin. And like just like once it started to be yellowish on the stove, you put like vinegar, and then like you hear like shh, that's amazing sound.
And then from here, I
guess. And then put the tomato sauce and what else? Just like maybe like add on it like a little bit of water so it's not very thick. And just like put it in a gentle heat as well, and just cover it and let it like boil. And this dish needs like a very hot sauce beside it. So the trick that I learned is like basically put some like whatever like hot powder you have, like I don't know, like chili powder or like cayenne pepper or anything of these kind of like really, or like sometimes I get like the Indian hot spices, and then like just like again like on the heat, and with oil, and then like take some of the sauce that you made and put it on that. So when you put the hot powder on the oil and on the heat, it's like you start to like smell something that's like really strong. Sometimes you actually sneeze. That's when you know that it's working. And then put the sauce.
That's the stamp you have.
Exactly. And then like there is also the onion, which is it's very complicated plate. There is also like the fried onion part. So you cut the onion julienne, and then I mix it with the cornstarch, and like a little bit of white flour, and then also like in a deep oil, and then like you fry it. And then like just like when you like serve it, is like one layer of the rice with the lentil, one layer of the pasta, and then don't forget like one like big spoon of this sauce, and then the fried onion on the top. Sometimes I put some chickpeas. I don't do that. I just buy them from the supermarket. So like
chickpeas, it takes a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's totally worth it.
It's amazing.
And we're famous with doing this. I once I made it at my kids' international party they do at school, and everybody. I was like, nobody will eat it, but you know what? They just devour.
Yeah, it's vegetarian, so it actually match all tastes.
Match all.
Yeah, but like I just have to say a disclaimer that the day I eat this, I have like to stay a week on a diet to fix what I did on that day. So like fixing my food and try to eat healthy.
I'm glad you can do it, but because I can't. So
I try, like at least I'm aware that I need to do that. That doesn't mean that I for sure do that.
Okay. So so the next, my next question is about a story. Would you share with me an aspiring story that you really wanted to share with our audience? Any inspiring story, though, anything that comes, maybe two, if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have this habit of like anything happens to me, at some point, I believe it's inspiring on some level.
Mm-hmm.
Like every single thing, because somehow I sit down, I try to read the message that was like why it meant to be, why it happened to me, and I figure out that like it's actually for some reason, and it's very inspiring to me. So I'm gonna actually share very shortly a story that I usually share. I think like anyone who actually like knows me knows this story, but I feel that it's very inspiring about like my journey is like how I came in the United States.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm graduated from computer science with computer science degree in one of those public colleges in Egypt. It's like very well known company, like a college, but it's actually a public college. And I had a dream when I graduated from that college that I wanted to work for Microsoft, because Microsoft is a big deal in Egypt. It's like everyone is just using all Microsoft products. It's not even like Mac products is not as common as Microsoft products in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like working in Microsoft to me was like working in NASA, something like, oh my God, something like that. So that was like a big dream to me. And when I graduated, I tried to interview with them once and it didn't work. It's like basically I messed it up. I wasn't prepared. I didn't know what to expect, and I just like thought of like who knows, maybe I'll just go and try. And it didn't work out, but I didn't give up. I actually thought like, okay, that's fine. And then I continue with my life, continue with my work, and then they came again after 2 years, like to do interviews in Egypt, kind of like international recruitment program they used to do. And I entered the interview. I was very ready at that time. And again, I didn't get it. They told me like, no, thank you. And I didn't know why. But I said like, it's not meant to be, it's fine. And then after 2 years after, so that's actually 5 years after my graduation, they came again. And in that year, it was like the year when I just gave birth to my son. And I was so tired, so exhausted. I figured like, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna apply. It's not to me. And actually, my husband is the one who applied to me without telling me. It just like took my resume and sent it to Microsoft. And I was surprised that they are sending to me. I'm like, can you imagine that they're sending me? I'm like, oh yeah, I send it like on your behalf. It's your dream. Come on, just like give it a try. So I went into that interview, and I was like 100% sure that I'm not gonna get it. Like because when I was single, and I wasn't a mom, I didn't get it, and I was so ready. And on the third time, actually it happened that like usually they don't give you the results on spot. Usually they like wait a month and then they send you an email. I was surprised that actually the recruiter came back to me and told me like, everyone is so impressed by your skills, you got it. And I'm like, what? And it was kind of like I was so happy.
Someone pitched me here.
Exactly. And I was so happy, but again I was so like scared. It's like I have a baby right now. I have a life that I already established in Egypt 5 years. Yeah, I know that I always wanted this, but I didn't expect it to come. That's a different story. So they actually like did all the arrangements, and like they relocated us from Egypt to here. And then my husband got the job here like right after we came, also as a software engineer in Microsoft. But like when I like, again, like talking about seizing the moment, at that point I didn't notice that I'm accomplishing anything. I was just scared about what I'm gonna find in like how the living would be like in the United States. Like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to work, and what will happen to my husband when he has a job? Like what will happen to my son? I didn't seize the moment. I didn't sit down and see what's the message behind this. Then when I came here, now I'm here for 14 years, and I met those all those amazing people, and I just look back and see through my those 5 years, I couldn't have chose more perfect timing to move me here than the time that I moved. like because I like for immigration point of view, like the green card and everything, because I had like 5 years experience before I come, I got the green card in 1 year. And then like
Mashallah.
a series of events that like if I didn't got the green card, that could have happened and this could have happened. It's kind of like as God is kind of like
It's God's
preparing
plan. Plan.
everything like just perfectly, and everything just feels like fit in place. And what if my husband didn't apply for me? What if it just happened like this time, like specifically I feel like it wasn't in my control that much, and everything just happened without my planning. And like, and now I have my second, my daughter is actually born here, so it's like my whole life changed from one day, from like that turning point. So I believe it's inspiring because, first of all, like, never give up, never ever give up. And you will never know when is the right time to to achieve your dream. And also you will never know, like, as long as you are keep going and keep resisting and like keep trying, you will never know which trial of those would work. And it's not necessary at all like to work for the thing that you were targeting. It could work for something different or even better.
Mhm.
So it's and also, who said that because you are a mom and you're a woman you can't
Achieve your
achieve
dreams.
such a dream like that? It can happen. And I believe that I myself, like, very normal person, like, I'm not genius, or like I didn't even think of myself like as a genius person, that like one of those few people who like kind of like do something impossible. I find that these things are not impossible, as long as you keep trying and be persistent and just believe what's right for you will happen. It will just work out.
It's about perseverance.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hmm. And so last year was a hard year. How the pandemic and the lockdown and everything, how it impacted you?
Oh my God. In the beginning, I'm a very outgoing person. I like I'm not one of those persons who enjoy sitting on the couch and do nothing. I used to be like every weekend go out, like meet friends. I'm a very social person. So when like the lockdown happened, it's like kind of like, oh my God, I'm gonna stay home. Oh, and then like that anxiety. And the kids too, because they are used to be outdoors all the weekend. So I kind of like, all right, I was in the denial mood first. I'm like, it's not gonna last. It's just 1 month. It's just a flu. And
Yeah.
then like the schools closed, and I'm like, oh my God, it's getting real. And then I remember when Trump said like it will last till August 2020, I had a panic attack. Like, August, are you kidding me? No. And then like I actually went through all these things, and then like, you know what, it's not that bad. I actually stay way more longer with kids now. I get to know them more. And then and then
Let's know more about my family.
I know. And then, oh my God, it's really nice to like work with my pajamas. It's not that bad. And then like now, if you tell me like we are gonna go back to offices, or like to my previous life, oh my God, I would say no. I can't do my previous life again. It was so exhausting. And
Yeah.
one of the benefits that like of that slowing down thing, that I get to learn life coaching, right? It's
Mhm.
actually, I did that during the pandemic. This is when I had time to discover myself. This is when I had time to just like stop. I'm like, oh my God, I was running and running and running. And here is God actually came with his plan to just stop right there.
Mhm.
And it just feels amazing when you stop. Just
Mhm.
for a while, and to know where are you going. You're just running. Do you know where are you going, or you're just running all the time?
So
So yeah.
now I think it was a good moment for us to learn about the illusional perfectionism
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, I think the world became very materialistic. Like now, it's like everything has to be perfect. My kids has to be in the perfect school. They have to get the perfect grades. They have to, I don't know. I mean, like, they have to get the perfect iPad, or like I have to be in the, I don't know. But I
But
think if you look at it, I think it's like even these standards change from time to time, right? So that actually tells you that the society is the one who's actually creating these definitions of like what's great look like or what's perfect look like.
the
It's not
tags.
real. Exactly.
Mhm.
It's just labels, and it's
Mm.
just fake. And it's just fake, I would say.
And if you're just pursuing the perfectionism every time, especially with the kids, you're letting them miss on the actual learning thing that comes out from failing. So you fail,
Right.
you try, and you try harder, and it builds up the actual soft skills that really needed it to live in such an anxious world like we're living right now. If
I
you're not
agree.
perseverant enough, you're not gonna pursue your goals. You're gonna any tiny thing that would happen to you would cause you to be like devastated, and everything will collapse. And
Right.
yeah, and you're missing on a human experience that comes from.
Yeah. And I also noticed that the perfectionism for us as moms or as parents, usually like side effects of the perfectionism is like we tends to be like rushing things a lot. Like we wants to get fast results. And that makes us put kids under pressure of like um if they do mistakes, like, oh my God, they're not perfect. Like they don't have to be perfect tomorrow. They're not
Mhm,
gonna be adults tomorrow. We tend to forget that. We tend to forget that they are still kids. There is still plenty of time for them to fail and learn. So they
mhm,
become the adult that you want them to be.
mhm,
So yeah, the perfectionism is just like making us like rushing things and putting pressure on ourselves in the first place, even before we put it on our kids, and putting pressure to like meet I don't know, like, I mean, illusional standard that I don't know who created.
We are the one who created it,
Yes. Yeah.
and we're good about that. So, I really enjoyed talking to you. So, I didn't want to end this beautiful interview. So, do you have
Yeah.
any questions for me?
No, I really enjoy talking to you, Shama, and thank you so much for having me. Like, and it was like just an adorable, wonderful, like heart to heart chatting. Thank you so much.
Of course. Just let me know if you have any comments or anything you want to share more about. Do you have anything to share with our audience
No,
again?
it's just like a small notice that you said like you're gonna share my business page. It's and it has like a lot of posts. No, actually, like I wanna have a correction there. I just created my page. I'm still like in the very first
Okay.
step on my creating the content, and I'm hoping to create a special content. I started to add some few people to that page, and I'm happy to have like all the new members to that page. But I'm still working on my content, so I would appreciate like being patient with me, and I promise I will have great content.
Inshallah. So
Inshallah.
thanks for taking the time to share your knowledge with us and share your experience with us. It was really nice to talk to you today. And for our audience, feel free to reach out to the page in the comment. Also, feel free if you have any questions for me. My email is shama_farag@outlook.com. And if you are interested in any of my books or any previous work, you just search my name on Amazon, search my name on Google. I would love to hear back from you. And Know Your Neighbor, my program here is not affiliated with any organization I work or volunteer for. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.